Examinations Board is mandated to streamline, regulate, and coordinate examinations and awards in the business, technical, vocational, and other specialized training professions in Uganda. The government of Uganda's commitment to skilling Ugandans with business, technical, and vocational training opens a new window of hope for thousands of unemployed youth lacking employable skills required in the job market. This, however, is coming after decades of alienation suffered by the sector, partly because colonial and post-colonial education policies did not set out to teach people to acquire productive skills. Join GCIC's Duncan Abigaba and Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board's Public Relations Officer Narasi Kambaho on this week's Citizen Baraza this Friday the 17th of September at exactly 10 a.m. in a conversation about the state of technical and vocational education in Uganda.
Dear viewer and follower, thank you so much for joining us this morning for another session of the Citizen Baraza. My name is Duncan Abigaba and I'm going to be your host. Like I've said before, a Baraza is Swahili for a meeting. And these are meetings between you, our citizen, who is following us on YouTube and on Twitter, and then government, represented by an expert in this studio. We shall be bringing you different experts and senior government leaders to talk about different projects and programs of government. And this morning, we have a very interesting topic. We are going to talk about jobs and employment. I know most of you watching us, you know, between me and you, we've all clamored for a university degree. But in most cases, it has not helped. But today we have someone who is going to tell us where the jobs are. There is international demand for these jobs. International demand for technical and vocational skills. Uganda Business and Technical Education Board, UBTEB, is mandated to regulate, coordinate, and streamline examinations and awards in the business and technical profession in Uganda, according to Instrument Number 9 of 2009. And like in the Western world, where youth are skilled, given skills that are marketable, in Africa, most of us still clamor for university education. We acquire these degrees that are not relevant to the market, that are not relevant to the job market, and then we end up with the challenge of unemployment. And also, there is the issue of affirmative action. Most of our sisters have not yet embraced the issue of business, technical, and vocational education. So with us this morning, break down this subject for us, to tell us exactly where the jobs are, is Mr. Naras Kambaho, the Senior Communications and Public Relations Officer at UBTEB, Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board. My brother Naras, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, so for starters,
Yes.
many Ugandans out there don't know so much about business and technical education. So, what awards do you give and where do I go to study?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll introduce, I am Kambaho Narasi Anjuka. I work as Senior Communication and the Public Relations Officer at the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board. I'm privileged to be here today to be hosted by GCIC on this important program of Baraza. As the government of Uganda, we have put a lot of emphasis on vocationalization of education. And this has been captured in various policy documents of government, including the National Development Plan 2, and now we have a National Development Plan 3. We have the Skilling Uganda Strategy of 2012, and we have the BTVET policy of 2019. All these are focusing on giving emphasis and appealing to Ugandans that the future of our country, in terms of production, industrialization, and development, we need to focus on vocational education and training. And in line with our structure of education, vocational education and training in Uganda, vocational education starts immediately after P7 level. If a student has finished P7 and has successfully passed either in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, graded by UNEB, the student can pursue careers in agriculture, electrical installation, plumbing, carpentry and joinery. We have building and construction. We have information technology, among other programs. That is after P7. After senior 4, any student who successfully completed and passed senior 4 examinations and has a pass slip of UNEB qualifies to join vocational education and training programs. And in this case, I mean anyone who has obtained a pass slip, that is, we consider someone with 3 passes. And in this case, we look at issues like courses in areas of national certificate in civil engineering, national certificate in electrical installation, national certificate in plumbing, we have national certificate in information technology, we have national certificate in electronics and electrical installation, we have a national certificate in fashion and design, we have a national certificate in cosmetology, we have a national certificate in welding and fabrication, we have a national certificate in machining and fitting, national certificate in painting and decoration, national certificate in refrigeration and air conditioning, national certificate in leather tanning and shoemaking, we have a national certificate in pottery and ceramics, then we have a national certificate in agriculture, mechanics and engineering. And finally, we have a certificate in agriculture. I already mentioned it. That is for those are programs under vocational that are offered after one has completed a level of senior 4. In addition to that, we have got additional certificate programs under specialized training institutions. We have one of the institutions of government, Fisheries Training Institute in Entebbe. The students here can study a certificate in both building technology and marine mechanics. A student can do certificate in fisheries management and technologies. And the students can do a course in certificate in meteorology. And the students can also do a course in, that is under fisheries, yeah. You can do a course in wildlife tourism management and a course in wildlife and natural resources management. All these are offered in government institutions and private institutions across the country. For those who have finished senior 6 and you want to enroll for technical courses, we have courses in different disciplines. One, we have a diploma in civil engineering, electrical engineering, architecture, water and sanitation engineering. We have a course in refrigeration and air conditioning, and all these are offered in various campuses in Uganda. The various campuses that offer these engineering programs are 5 in the whole country. We have Uganda Technical College in Mbale, we have Uganda Technical College in Masindi, that is Chema, Uganda Technical College in Bushenyi, we have Uganda Technical College in Chitwamba. Basically, those are the 5 government institutions that offer technical engineering disciplines in Uganda. But we have also others which are private and give these programs, like Uganda Royal. We have under UPDF, under Uganda Ministry of Defense and Veterinary Affairs, we have a college, Uganda Military Engineering College. They also offer diplomas in engineering disciplines as explained above. We cross over to areas of business. We have business programs which are offered in these vocational institutions in Uganda. And these are highly specialized programs in areas of business studies, procurement and supplies. We have marketing, secretarial, journalism, information technology and records management, hotel and logistics management, among other courses. These programs are offered both on government and private sponsorship across the country. For business programs, we have got 5 Uganda colleges of commerce in the whole country, And these include the Uganda College of Commerce in Soroti, sorry. We have Uganda College of Commerce in Tororo. We have Uganda College of Commerce in Kabare. We have Uganda College of Commerce in Pakwach. Uganda College of Commerce in Aduku. These are government institutions, and you can access these programs there. For wildlife programs and tourism-related courses, these are offered at our institution in the Uganda Wildlife and Research Training Institute in Kasese. It's the only one in the whole country. Highly specialized, and they produce these professionals.
Yes, thank you. So I'm here trying to convince someone out there to choose a technical course rather than go to university and get a degree, probably in humanities, and then they can't find a job.
Yes.
So tell us about the existing opportunities for these technical courses in Uganda or in the region.
Okay, thank you. As a sector, we are proud to have been one of the earmarked sectors by government of Uganda in terms of spearheading the revolution to create socio-economic transformation and national development. If you read the NDP3 and the NI Manifesto of 2021-2026, the government has highlighted key sectors that can spur innovation, production, and competitiveness to bring about reforms within the way of working, within the ways of enhancing production. The opportunities are wide across the sectors. One, we have highlighted the sector like manufacturing and production. As a government, we have created the sector skills councils earmarked to make sure that we have enough skilled people in the various sectors. In manufacturing, oil and gas, we have agriculture, we have leisure and hospitality, we have construction and ICT. So these sectors are earmarked as the core towards boosting production. As you are aware, in construction, for example, they tell you that one engineer, we need 20 technicians. And these are the people who are employed or who have finished the diploma level in building and construction, and those who have finished the certificate in building and construction. We'll give an example of industries like roofing. Each year they take over 300 technicians. Look at a company like Coca-Cola, a company like Hima Cement. All these on annual basis, they write to vocational institutions to recommend the students, go and undertake these jobs. Recently, as we were sharing, roofing wanted 100 electricians, and they contacted the chairperson of technical institutions principals. When he contacted me, he told me, I want 100 of them if you can recommend. Of the 100 we needed, we only managed to get 4 who went to roofing to be recruited to do work of electrical. Others were already working. They say, I'm already working. Our students are working within Uganda and across the country. I just our students, they're in Somalia, they're in Rwanda, they're in Burundi, and other outside countries, doing a lot of work. Looking at the labor market trends, like in agriculture, this is a sector that is underserved by professionals. We had a meeting with the Uganda Veterinary Board. They are telling us they tried to license people who are professionals from these vocational institutions, that they possess diplomas and certificates. But they found the percentage of professionals was not there. So that's why we are looking at doing a more campaign to have most of the youth enrolling for these courses, where there is their need to boost the sector that needs such skilled people. Looking at an area like ICT, we look at an area like leisure and hospitality, including tourism. These are sectors that over the years they are bringing in greater returns into the economy in terms of the GDP and other things. And these ones correlate the labor demands that we need. And therefore, in line with the priorities of government, we would appeal to the graduate, to the young, the youth who are there, including the graduates. Let's undertake opportunity to get skilled in these professions so that we are able to contribute towards the government dream of raising sufficient technicians and artisans who are able to boost these economies, to be able to produce towards the maximum capacity that the country will be able to export and have greater resources around here to boost our country.
So you have heard, some of you out there are seated at home complaining about unemployment, and some of you were probably laid off because your company thought your skills were not so relevant when COVID hit. In other words, you're non-essential. However, it is not too late. You can turn the fortunes around. In our earlier conversation, you had mentioned that, some people who have actually gone up to master's level, but after attaining a master's level, then they realize this master's is not taking me anywhere. They turn, go back, study certificate, a technical certificate, and then they are employable, they are competitive, and so forth. Please tell us about a few examples.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan. When UBTEB was established by the government of Uganda in terms to assess and award certificates for the technicians in 2011, we have seen a number of graduates enrolling for these technical courses, and we award them certificates and diplomas. I would give an example of one of our good friends. He's currently the chairperson of the Sector Skills Council, Construction, Mr. Elvis Murumba. He was sharing with us a story when he went, he did his bachelor's here and went abroad, he did a master's. While abroad, he realized the trend in his country, the country where he was starting from. People are talking of TVET as a highly specialized skills and more rewarding. And when he came back after his master's, he went to Uganda Vocational Training Institute. He did a certificate with students who had just finished senior 4, and he did a certificate in carpentry and joinery. As I speak, he owns a company that is dealing in manufacture of woodwork, carpentry work, furniture, and other things. He sells them here and he exports abroad. And now he's a big man. His master's is there, his bachelor's is there, but he's using the skill which he attained after joining a certificate course at Nakawa. So more examples. Recently we had a meeting with our friends from the oil and gas sector, and the chairperson of the Oil and Gas Trainer Association in Uganda, Mr. Ongodia, is the current principal for Uganda Petroleum Institute in Chugumba. He told me after his degree at one of our universities here, he realized he didn't have a specific skill, so he joined Chambogo to pursue a diploma in electrical engineering. And now the rest is history. So we would wish to encourage more of the graduates that are saying there are no jobs. Enroll in one of these courses, and the rest will be history. I'll give an example of those who are interested in areas like cosmetology, areas like interior design. Take an example like of construction. For a student who has done a craft course, a vocational course, and is supposed to be a site engineer, the minimum you can pay this student to be at your site for maybe a month or less than a month, the minimum you can pay 5 million. For this student to do you a house plan, the minimum you can pay is between 3 to 5 million. These are highly rewarding courses, and I'm telling you, most of the graduates have seen them enroll. We have seen most of the welding shops, welding businesses and fabrication, making doors and windows. It's a trending business. I've got my friend Dennis Juko. He's a communications professional, but he owns a welding company where he produces doors and gates. He left his career, but he's focusing on the science of how to make doors and windows. There are many training things, and we appreciate that most of the graduates are taking this path. My friend Fortunate Ahimsigwe, he used to be a senior writer with the USA. He established a welding and fabrication business in Namgongo, and he was really speaking technically in line with the skill of manufacturing, making windows, making doors, and we appealed other graduates who are there. Please enroll for these courses. For your future is guaranteed. You'll be able to create jobs, employ many people, contribute towards the GDP ratio and growth of this country by paying taxes. Because here, there is no gambling. You have the skill, the demand is there. People are building every day. People are putting up electrical systems, solar systems. Cars are braking on the road every day. In your home. I remember Duncan, there is a gentleman who invented the fulcrum. When he was launching it, he said, show me where to stand, and I move the world. So we say to you parents, everyone who is seeing us there, that with vocational education, the moment someone graduates, you have done a course in cosmetology, that's working on the hair, doing manicure, pedicure. You know how the rewarding is. You know how much these courses are rewarding. To go to a saloon, I know like of Duncan, to go to a saloon, I know you might pay around 40,000 to work on him. So if you go, you want to get a trending shoe, which are pointed, and someone will both make a shoe which would cost you little money. I know like Duncan is style, his shoe is not below 300,000. So these are paying ventures, training suits, fitting. These are students who do them in town here. Don't go and import a suit in Turkey. No, a nice suit from Turkey, you get it here, and you know how much it costs. A shoe like my friend Doug has put on, you know, it would cost us some good dollars. So let's support in order for these courses. We shall be able to raise skills, start businesses, contribute through paying taxes, and we shall build the economy together through embracing vocational and technical education.
Wow. My friends who are watching, and especially the parents, you know, UNEP just released examination results for Form 6, and the parents are looking where to turn. Please think critically. This could be the right direction to take. Opportunities exist in the technical and vocational world. TVET. So, Nalas.
Yes, sir.
The issue of local content and then our oil, because we are gearing towards our first drop of the oil.
Yes.
And yes, we are excited. And there is this talk of local content, a certain portion of the jobs going to Ugandans.
Yes.
So, as UBTEB, what are you doing to make sure that you give the necessary skills that are required in the Albertine graben to work in these, you know, to operate the machines? You know, they are going to build the refinery and the pipeline and so forth. Are you giving your students these skills?
Yeah, thank you, Duncan. The government of Uganda has made tremendous efforts towards bridging the skills gap in the oil and gas sector. And to begin with, I'm glad to report and inform the public that some of our TVET awarding institutions in Uganda have already been granted certification by the companies or agencies that are recognized by oil and gas sector players. That is Sit and Guilds, OPITO, some of the international agencies that award these qualifications that are needed in the oil and gas sector that have already accredited and given a license to our institutions in TVET sector. I'll give an example of Uganda Petroleum Institute in Chugumba, already has got the recognition by Sit and Guilds and OPITO, and including other institutions like the Uganda Technical Institute, like Uganda Technical Institute, among others. The way of fast-tracking this, having international recognition as one of the requirements by the oil and gas sector players to recognize our local graduates, especially in TVET qualification. We have started a discussion with the Association of Oil and Gas Trainers in Uganda. And this one we are aiming at making sure that there is local certification done by a national agency of government of Uganda to minimize on the costs of obtaining international certification. And now that this debate has started, we are glad to say that in the near future, we shall see a great progress by Ministry of Education and Ministry of Energy towards fast-tracking the process of having the local agency that is mandated to streamline the certification and awarding of the skills that are needed by the oil and gas sector. So I appeal to all Ugandans that as of now, we are glad that some of our TVET institutions have already been accredited by these international organizations that are already recognized by oil and gas sector players like Total and others. And we pray that in the near future, as government fast tracks on this policy of having a national agency that will be in charge of doing local certification of our graduates and institutions here, we shall be able to match up with the local content. The Ugandans have got the skills, but there are issues which are real, there are standards that are expected by the international organizations and players, especially in the oil and gas sector, that we need to match up. And we are doing this one. We shall be updating the public about the progress in terms of bridging up the gaps in terms of standards to produce competent graduates that can be employed and absorbed by the oil and gas sector.
Wow. This is very interesting. So I can sit in Uganda. For example, I joined the Nakawa Vocational Training Institute.
Yes.
And I will sit for a paper.
Yes.
Examined by an American institute, and I will be able to get an international certification.
Yes.
That qualifies me to be employed by Total in the Graben region, and I can even go and work for Total in Tanzania or Mozambique.
Yes. Maybe that can add on that. UBTEB, we have had an engagement with the CITA and guilds to do what we call due assessment. Especially we're looking at areas over like institutional catering and other disciplines that we shall agree in the MOU, whereby we shall agree on the way of having the students will graduate with a certificate awarded by both UBTEB and CITA and guilds. And this one, we are still working out the MOU framework, and when it is done, we shall be able to roll it out, and our students will be safe in TVET institutions to be able to work in oil and gas sector.
I look forward to that. I'm also interested in getting a PMP, a project management certification. So I will be on your neck.
Very good.
Yeah. So, do you have some scholarship opportunities?
Yes, Duncan, thank you. Government of Uganda has a series of scholarships for students who are enrolling for vocational and for technical and vocational education and training programs. As I mentioned earlier, these scholarships start when you are at P7, Senior 4, Senior 6. When you are feeling, we used to call them job form or Form X. When you are feeling at P7, you put your choice in any of the government institutions. We have 29 community polytechnics in Uganda, where these students after P7 can go and study a course of your dream. I'm glad on this one. I happened to travel in the Netherlands in 2007. And for them, they said, they have a human resource planning. But when you finish P7, you either choose a professional line or you go and join secondary. I think here in Uganda it has not yet started. So for them, the answer is mandatory. You know that in the next 2 years, we shall need 20 technicians in electrical. So you must know that after P7, certain section of students must join this sector. So after P7 there, these 29 institutions, we have one in we have Sanje Community Polytechnic, we have Gombe here on the Blue Highway, we have Chi Community Polytechnic, we have Mbale Community Polytechnic in the eastern, and among others. They are widespread across the different parts of Uganda. So those who would wish to access it, they can easily access the ministry website and they get those programs. So those scholarships, when you are filling the job form after P7, make sure that you put there your choices. But in case you forgot to put your choices there, our job office at Legacy Towers is always open. After you have got your results, you can come and fill the job form and you'll be admitted. Yeah. Then after Senior 4, the same. When you are filling your form, the job form after Senior 4, you go after Senior 6, you must give a choice to these institutions of government that are offering business and technical vocational education training programs. I've been approached by many parents when they got their results. This one has scored this, how can you join, how can you enroll? And this is the message to the public. In the TVET, after Senior 4, if I've got 3 passes, that student can be enrolled to get a scholarship, either through the mainstream of government. For those who have finished at 6 and are going to do diploma courses, and you have maybe failed to get it on the government scheme, main scheme, Government of Uganda has put in place the Higher Education Students Financing Board. And this one is giving students a chance who would have missed government sponsorship and cannot afford private fees at any university or a vocational institution in Uganda. You can apply there, they do assessment of your application, and you are given to study. My son is one of the products. He missed to do medicine at the university, he was given pharmacy on their own scheme. And he went and studied because he's a double orphan, he's a son to my sister. And these students, after you have done your courses, you go and study, then you start paying at a certain interest, at a certain schedule that you agree with their own scheme. So we appeal to Ugandans that every level, after P7, Senior 4, Senior 6, the government of Uganda has put scholarship programs for students to go and study.
Wow. So, they recently released the Senior 6 results. Can someone still apply for a scholarship under JAB, or it's already closed?
Thank you, Duncan. For now, JAB is now closed because the neighbor has already put sheets.
Yeah.
And I would wish to encourage all those who have missed. There will be a window of supplementary admissions. And when that window opens, you are free to contact the JAB admissions office, and they will be able to consider your application. Yeah.
So, many Ugandans, many youth are still, carried away by university education. We want to go to university. So is there any deliberate campaign by UBTEB or the Ministry of Education to try and convince learners to choose technical and vocational education instead of going to university?
Great, yeah, thank you. The focus of the country is on vocational education. We want to thank the President. When he was meeting the graduates of UPE, the first graduates of UPE who finished university at Kororo, he told them, I can help a cow to deliver, but if you bring a woman here, I'll run away. That's what the President said. So he was telling these graduates that the future of this country is in vocational education, whereby there is no gambling. We need a nurse, is a nurse. There is no gambling that there is an option to a nurse. So, from the top, at the policy level, I've seen the President sensitizing the public on vocational education and training in the whole country. Look at the manifesto of NRM 2021-2026. The government, the NRM government is saying they are going to give, during this regime, they are going to give free universal vocational education and training after Senior 4. So this is a chance. The government is telling you, yeah, this is where we want to go as the country. We want the industry. You have seen the President launching industries. Who is going to work there? We must have the Ugandans work there with the skills. So that's the national outlook. At the ministry, we have got a department of career guidance and counseling. And it has saturated this content on progression of candidates. We have had a series of meetings and engagements with different sectors, especially sensitizing them on vocational education and guide child. And in this case, we would wish to thank the media. We have run a series of campaigns with the Daily Monitor, following up with these graduates. Where are they? What are they doing? Which courses do they do? What are their ambitions? And these are most gratifying success stories. When we were releasing our results in March at Entebbe, March 18, 2021, we profiled some of our graduates. Like I'm glad to say that the student, the worker with Civil Aviation Authority, who is in charge of marine operations at the airport, is our graduate from Fisheries Training Institute. So by sharing such stories, we empower the public that this is where there is gold, and let the students will go there. We will provide more others in areas of surveying, in areas of electrical, in areas of agriculture. And these testimonies are widely shared across different platforms, especially the youth. Those who follow us on the various social media platforms, they always see these success stories, and most of them come asking for where they can go. I'm glad to report to you, Duncan, that over the years, in 2007, the numbers in vocational education were very small. But I'm glad to report that when UBTEB started in 2011, our first candidates, we examined 19,000 candidates only. But I can report that recently, in one examination sitting, we recorded over 100 students sitting in one session. You can see over 10 years, that shift,
100,000.
yes, 100, one sitting. When we started with 19,000 students, that is in 2011. So we say the trend is positive and we continue to encourage Ugandans.
So out of 100,000 that started this time, how many passed?
75% of the students that passed in the last examinations, 75 passed. And for us in our area, there is no language of failure. No. I could be doing electrical engineering and I will fail like one module, maybe in science of materials. That means I cannot build. I can build. But on that one, it was a bad luck. I scored low grade. I did attain 50, the pass mark.
So are students given an opportunity to retake?
Yes, they are given
a particular paper they fail?
Yes, when it is next offered. If you fail a paper, if it is in year 1, semester 1, you wait for the second year 1 semester 2, the next academic year, you will take a paper and progress. But for us in our engineering disciplines, we look at in our vocational language. We encourage students, when you have, we say that they have attained competencies, but they have failed to meet some minimum requirements in 1 or 2 papers. So if it is a student of electrical installation, he has failed maybe Kiswahili. These students can go and build, but he failed Kiswahili. So our students can progress and work, they are competent, they are professional, but we hold them, in your area, you need to pass Kiswahili very well, then you progress.
So you must come back and
finish.
And finish this Kiswahili business.
But the good news is, in line with the BTVET policy, which was passed in 2019, we say that it's flexible learning. You can have a course which courses take 2 years. So we say you can come and study this course in a flexible manner. We are going to bring on board what we call modular assessment. You can say this time I'm ready to come. I'm doing electrical installation. Maybe I'm interested in knowing solar alone. You come and study solar, you finish it and go. When you come back, you study maybe industrial wiring. You come back, you do next time home wiring. So you'll be doing those packages according to your convenience. When you finish maybe in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, we shall give you your award. So that's the good news in the BTVET policy that was passed by the government of Uganda.
Wow. Wow. So you're focusing on skills.
On skills, yes.
Rather than qualification.
Rather than qualification.
It's not about just getting a certificate or a diploma, but have you acquired the skill?
The skill.
Which is the most important step in industrializing a country.
Yes, yes. That's what the BTVET policy is all about here.
So, free vocational education. We already have free UPE and free USE. Now free vocational education promised by the president in the current manifesto.
Yes.
So we are now in the first financial year of the manifesto.
Yes.
So what is the progress of the free education?
Thank you, Duncan. In terms of implementing the free education, we are briefing the Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable J.C. Muyingo, with the technical team of the ministry. They are working on a paper which shall be presented through the structures of the Ministry of Education and Sports. And once this paper is approved, to be able to go through the structures after cabinet approval. And after cabinet approval, we shall see all the measurements being implemented, see that it is captured in the budget, and later implemented in all training institutions. So as of now, we are on the stage of drafting the documentation. Once it is done, to be submitted and to be certified, and then the public will be made to understand how it will be implemented. Yeah.
Amazing. And the issue of affirmative action.
Yes.
When Honorable Muyingo, the Minister of State for Higher Education, was releasing results recently, he commented on this matter. I think there is little uptake of technical and vocational education among girls. What are you doing about this?
Thank you, Duncan. One, I can say that the country has registered progress of female enrollment in technical and vocational institutions in Uganda. I remember in 2007 when I joined, I was working in UTC Tramba. We had only 17 students, 17 female students out of, total enrollment was around 246. I'm glad to report today that we have seen numbers grow under TVET education and training. One, for example, if I would refer to the recent released recent results, out of the candidates that were released, we can see 5,000, around 5,000 girls were able to sit for these examinations out of the 11,000 boys. I can see this gap they are bridging in. We have all these girls enrolling for various programs, and the good news is those who are enrolling for these vocational programs, they are passing well, and they are doing well. As I was giving an example, one of the students who is managing the marine is a girl at the Civil Aviation Authority, and we have.
So if a brings kids into the lake,
yes,
she's the one that is going to manage.
She's the one to manage the risk. Yes. So those who are familiar with going to the entire airport, you can always check her out. She's there. Yes. Yeah. So that is the enrollment. So far, it is promising, though the gap is still bigger compared to boys. And we encourage our female counterparts at all levels enroll for these programs. Some of these things we hear, some of their cultural biases. That some cultures, a girl cannot climb a tree or cannot be on top of the house to roof. We say the world is changing. These are dynamics. Yes, away of our cultural background and orientations. These vocational courses are far rewarding and can be done by a woman or a man. So, like constructing, we have seen ladies who are doing well in construction. We have seen ladies who are doing well in mechanics. We have seen ladies who are doing well in disciplines of electronics. Yeah, you go, they are repairing TV, they are fixing air conditioners, they are doing all sorts of work. You go in carpentry and joinery, they are doing great work. You go to roofings, you go to Coca-Cola, you find ladies, they are working. Not at the back bench, but they are for operating the machines. So we encourage all our girls, rather than the task, we congratulate those girls who are already there working. They are doing good testimonies. And when we are going to celebrate our 10 years in November, we shall be profiling some of these female students who have enrolled in our vocational courses, and they are doing a great job. Like someone who is managing we have one of our students who is managing the electrical systems at the National Media Group. She's called Tauba Nachinji. She's doing a good job there. And yeah, so when we interviewed her, she was saying, I'm managing the whole system here. I know that the printing section needs this much power. This section needs this much power. So, ladies out there, please enroll for these programs. They are rewarding. Regardless of the gender.
Amazing discussion this morning. Mr. Naras Kambaho, your parting shot.
My parting shot is to everyone, Ugandans who are watching us today. The trends in career dynamics in Uganda have changed, and the government has prioritized some of the key areas. We focus in the NDP3. We talk of human capital development under the NDP3, and the areas which are emphasized is science, technology, and innovation. And under vocational, we see we need more of these artisans and technicians to boost our key sectors of manufacturing. We see we're opening many industries in Uganda, but we need equally the same human resource. The oil and gas coming on board, equally we need workers there. So today it is me and you to make sure that we plan to focus our energy in areas which government has prioritized. You will see that those people who are the business, every financial year that the government releases the budget, where much money goes, that's where most people will invest their business. So I appeal to all Ugandans that now the government has said we need vocational education and training in Uganda to work on two issues. One, boost production in this country. The second one is to fight unemployment problem. If you read the IBO report of 2018, we see most of the graduates from universities, they come out and they cannot get jobs. And the reasons are they lack employable skills. Those who have the skills, they are not relevant at the market. And here is the government has released the TVET policy, which was passed in 2019. They say our focus is to provide the skills that are needed by the industry. So here is the chance. Let's go for these vocational courses. They are provided in all regions of this country. If you want oil and gas, if you want agriculture, if you want engineering fields, if you want any other related areas, The information is on our platforms. You can visit the Ministry website, Ministry of Education and Sports, www.education.go.ug. You can visit the UBTEB website, www.ubteb.go.ug. Or you can visit the BTVET department, which is on Riga State Towers in Kampala here. Or any of our institutions located in various parts of the country, and you'll be able to be assisted. You can reach out to the DEO. In your district, they'll be able to help you with this information on where you can find vocational programs in Uganda. I thank you. May God bless you for God and my country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naras Kambaho, Senior Communications and Public Relations Officer, Uganda Business Technical Examinations Board, UBTEB. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, our viewer, for joining our 6th session of the Citizen Baraza. Baraza is Kiswahili for public meeting. We are going to be having these meetings, digital meetings, online meetings, through our YouTube channel, GCIC Uganda, and through our Twitter spaces, GCIC Uganda, every Friday at 10 a.m. to discuss key government programs and projects. We will be bringing you experts, heads of programs, public relations officers to break down these subjects for you. And greetings from the GCIC. GCIC is Government Citizen Interaction Center, a center established to facilitate the interaction of citizens and government. You can reach us through our email, citizen@gcic.go.ug, or WhatsApp 0414-670-288. Our toll-free line 900 is still off. Thank you very much. My name is Duncan Abigaba, and I shall see you next week.